What's going on, everyone? So yesterday we had media day, and one thing was incredibly apparent from everybody, and that is Darvin Ham was terrible and JJ Redick's been really good. And you kept hearing this running narrative, all the players just taking shots throughout the media and stuff at Darvin Ham and his lack of preparation, his lack of utilization, his lack of play calling, just not putting guys in proper spots. You just heard it all media day. And then you heard with JJ Redick, right? Attention to details, systems, and structure. He's very structured, right? High IQ. The things that you heard about JJ Redick, you weren't hearing about Darvin Ham, even when he first was introduced, right? And Darvin Ham, looked good, right? He was great with the media, all that stuff. People hyped him up, but it was the verbiage and it was the way that they did it, right? Darvin Ham was almost like a politician out there, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna just run through walls, we're gonna do this, and man, question gets asked, and he just don't worry about that. Look over here, right? Where JJ Redick, he'll answer the stuff head on, right? He the true big. He kind of has a gag with that, kind of has some fun, and then he says in the later on in a different I know what they're talking about, right? Just trying to have a good gag because he knows, right? What is he supposed to say? He's got his boss sitting right there. What is he supposed to say? Rob, that was a question for Rob, not a question for JJ. What is JJ supposed to say? Anthony Davis is a bum at the center position. That's not true. It's a weird spot to be in. But I like that JJ Redick, he's very raw, right? And that's good. It's good. He's not afraid to handle the media. He's not afraid of the question. He'll answer the question. He kind of got that little swagger to him. He gets it. He was in the league for 15 seasons or whatever, right? Been in the media. He's not afraid of the confrontation. We all seen that Stephen A. Smith, right, debate thing. It's just I like the things though that I heard about JJ, and it's something that I've talked heavily about and why I believe JJ is going to be so successful, because he is manic about just preparation and understanding little nuances, and he's very open about it, right? Darvin Ham didn't want a proper coaching staff for a rookie head coach because he didn't want to seem like he needed it. The ego, I can do that, I got this, and look at how that worked out. JJ Redick came in and was look, guys, it's apparently clear that, I'm a first-year head coach. I don't know everything. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, right? I got this coaching staff because they are as obsessed as I am, but they understand and can hold my hand during this process. I can draw up the plays. The X's and O's and the in-game stuff is not my problem. Right? I got that. It's everything else, which is even before we hired JJ Redick. When I was talking about, I love the idea of JJ Redick, I repeatedly said, I'm not worried about the X's and O's. I'm not worried about the on-court stuff. The play design, the schemes, putting guys in position, understanding offensive flows. He's a very analytical guy. He's a very, play, you run sets, you run actions. You don't just wing it. Not saying you never do that, but 9 out of 10 times you're running something structured because it's how you're going to get the best result, right? He understands the game of basketball. It's just everything else that goes on to being a head coach, because there's more than just calling timeouts, drawing up plays, drawing up schemes. Hey, you go in now, you come out, right? There's dealing with all the noise, the agents, the egos, right? Film sessions, training sessions, right? There's issues, players dealing with playing time. There's just so many things. You're dealing with the front office, you're dealing with the owner, you're dealing with other teams, you're dealing with, other teams' agents that, my player's not getting enough. That, there's just so many little things that people just don't take into account. Those are the things that, will he be able to handle it, right? And a lot of questions, media, fans, right? If he has a 3-game losing streak, fans are going to be like, get rid of this guy, he's a bum. We could start 25-0. And as soon as we go 25-3, they'll be like, trash, guy doesn't know what he's doing, right? Like, it's just, but that's how it goes, right? That's part of the criteria, right? Like when you list the job, it's like, oh, and fans are going to criticize and overanalyze everything you do. It's just how it works, right? Like, but he seems fine with it. But it's more so about the things that everyone was saying, the consensus thoughts. It was his IQ, it was his preparation, his attention to details, right? The little nuances that he's very, meticulous about, right? Like all of those things are so valuable for a head coach, right? He wants to have structure. He's putting together systems, and he talked about the pods, right? And every coach has several players in their pods, right? So it's not just one person that's in charge and responsible for everybody. It's you got these 3 guys, 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 right? And then you rotate, okay, well now you got those 3, right? Like, so that way everyone's kind of getting the same level of attention, everyone's getting the same level of development, everyone's getting the same everything, right? Like there's structure, there's understanding where, Darvin Ham just winged it. And when all else fails, give the ball to LeBron and let him figure it out. And sometimes that works, right? Sometimes that's your best play, in all honesty, right? Sometimes it is. Like nothing's working. You're trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks, and it's just not working. Give the ball to your best player and let him go make a play. That's sometimes the best play. But not possession after possession after possession after possession after possession. Like, it's not. Like, at what point do you run some sets? Do you run some plays? Do you do some things? Right? JJ Redick immediately identified everything wrong with the Lakers. Immediately. Right? Before he was officially the head coach, he was talking about the issues that the Lakers had and things and ways to correct them. Now, look, it's one thing to talk about it and notice it. It's another thing to actually make the changes and implement it, right? And some stuff, I question how well is he going to be able to change, right? Like the defensive side of things and the rebounding, right? Yes, crashing the corners will help. Darvin Ham went extreme, right? The previous year, Darvin Ham's first year, the Lakers were atrocious. They were like dead last, if I'm not mistaken, in transition. If they weren't dead last, they were like towards the bottom. They're like second or third. But they were atrocious in transition and getting back on defense. So instead of balancing it out and sending like 2 or 3 guys back, or just any type of different scheme to kind of balance it out, he just went to the extreme and was like, don't rebound, just get back, right? Like, but we also don't have a ton of foot speed, right? Like, we don't have a ton, like, part of the reason we were so bad in transition was because you got guys like Rui, Adilo, and Reeves who they're just not quick to get back. They don't have the athleticism and foot speed to get back. Also, same thing with rebounding. We were terrible defending the perimeter, right? And one of the big issues we had was giving up offensive boards. But if you watch the tape, a lot of the offensive rebounds we were giving up were long ball rebounds because teams were shooting 43s a game against us because we couldn't defend the perimeter. And it was like, we could just take 43s, just get a rebound, kick it back out. Oh, we missed again. Okay, let's get a rebound, kick it back out. Because I just need to win a foot race against Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and Rui Hachimura. Right? So there are some things that I do have concerns of. How well will JJ actually be able to create it? Just because these players, like Rui Hachimura talked about, like, oh, I can defend 1 through 5. No, he can't. He can't. I love Rui. I talk highly of Rui, defend Rui all the time, but he can't. In his mind, he probably thinks he can, and that's the right answer to say, right? Like, what do you say? Like, oh man, I can really only defend smaller 5s and 4s. Like, no, but the evidence shows otherwise, right? And we've seen him try to defend, and he just gets torched, right? Like, no. Now, can he improve and be at least serviceable defensively? Sure, right? Same thing with Reeves, same thing with D'Lo, right? Like, if he can get these guys to buy in, I'm not saying he won't be able to change it, but how much will he be able to change it is the question, right? But like, we talked about it all season, right? Like, we could recognize, myself and many of you, could recognize the issues that the Lakers had all season long. Yet our head coach seemed completely oblivious to it all. Like, oh, what? Like, nah, like, we're fine. Like, no, we're not. We can clearly see we're not. And then all of the things that he failed to correct during the regular season, we ran into Denver, and all those things came to a head. All of it came to a head. I don't think that that's a coincidence that all of our big issues and concerns all season long all became big issues and concerns against Denver. Lack of rebounding, right? Teams just lighting us up from three-point range. Not playing defense. When the offense is cooking, right? Tough team to beat. We're up 20. We're looking good. Things are cruising. We hit that wall, and that was it. No adjustments made. We were up at halftime every single game by double digits. And every single game except for one. Darvin Ham didn't make adjustments. Mike Malone did, and one team won the game. Blowing a 20-point lead once or a double-digit lead once, that happens, right? Like if the Lakers won game one and lost game two, even though they were up 20, it's like, it's tough, really tough pill to swallow, feels like a missed opportunity, but it happens, right? You just kind of write it off, wash your hands with it, throw it away, you're done, right? You move on to the next one. But when it happens, game one, game two, game three, right? Game five. That's coaching. Lack of preparation, lack of adjustment. Biggest reason Darvin Ham got fired was his lack of preparation, his lack of in-game adjustments, his lack of understanding opponents and preparing for the opponents. You're not going to have that problem with JJ Redick. JJ Redick is manic about it, right? He's very methodical about all the things. Like, he's going to look at the data. He's not going to be afraid to change things. If he needs to, hey, this isn't working, let's go this route, right? Like, that's the difference. And you heard it from every single player on this team. Darvin Ham sucked. JJ Redick has been great. And JJ Redick also, not only did he identify all the problems, he is self-aware, right? Like, that's good. He went and got a real coaching staff. Look, I've said this before. Take JJ Redick out of the equation for a moment. Just look at the coaching staff. Look at the staff minus JJ Redick that we have right now. And then look at Darvin Ham plus his coaching staff. And tell me our coaching staff isn't better than Darvin Ham plus his coaching staff, minus JJ Redick. And then you add in JJ Redick and his basketball mind and his understanding of the game and his preparation and his IQ, like, and just his attention to details and all the things that were highlighted during those interviews. I think JJ Redick's going to do a really good job. And I've talked about it, and I've been heavy about it. And if you're somebody that thinks Darvin Ham cost us even a handful of games, right? Let's say him by himself. Darvin Ham, we would have won 5 more games if it wasn't for Darvin Ham. At least, right? Minimum. Well, then, wouldn't JJ Redick have that same impact the other way? It doesn't work both ways. Either the coach is responsible for wins and losses, or they're not. So either Darvin Ham was completely irrelevant, or he wasn't. Which means JJ Redick is going to be relevant. So if Darvin Ham impacted losses and JJ Redick's better, he should impact wins. Now, what will be the difference? We'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? You excited for JJ Redick? Did you like how the team responded? It's my biggest thing. The team responded well. The team was very excited, very adamant. Again, all kind of reiterated the same things. That's a good sign. But how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.